where are your inspirations for the nerdiness that gets you up and doing things? Where does that come from?
Ooh, ah,
Hey, we got two
man,
hours.
yeah. I want to say mostly goodness, asking the hard hitting questions right off the bat. That's
I did
all
ask
right.
if you've
That's
had
what we do.
caffeine yet. I warned you.
Yeah, see, it ain't gonna help. I'm gonna say mostly it's I mean, just your basic answer. It's nothing crazy. I didn't get bitten by a radioactive nerd, but it was just
Really?
video
Because I
games and
did.
anime. Oh well, see, I'm not lucky like that. All right. Yeah, somebody's just like Attack on Titan and then bites me, and I'm like, oh no, I feel the power.
Yeah. Actually, they don't bite you. They sting you.
Oh, they sting you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See,
Yep.
that's a
It's a
common
but it's a
misconception. I
psychic
didn't know
barb,
that.
so you don't actually like see anything happen.
Maybe. Wait, do you feel it though?
It's one of those like delayed detonations where like you don't realize the thing until years later. I don't know that.
Oh, so then maybe. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm learning things about myself today. Oh my God.
It's yeah, like one of those. It's not the same, but like if you've ever had like a teacher or a coach or like a mentor who like was giving you information, it just was not sticking, and then like years later, you're like, oh fuck, he was
It
right.
just detonates and hits you with the knowledge bomb, and you're like,
It's the knowledge bomb, but
yeah.
it's poisoned with nerdum fandom
Mm,
uh
mm.
insecurities.
Yeah, no, I think it was just TV mostly. Yeah, TV, and
TV.
I would say like cartoons growing up, because actually it took me quite a bit to get into anime. So I would say cartoons and video games, and being
Awesome.
just a very weird kid with ADHD, because you end up, yeah, yeah. I had a lot of times where I'd just be playing with toys and go through this whole like epic space opera, and yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Were you? I always ran into. I loved the idea of like collecting stuff, but I
Hmm.
hated the idea of not interacting with the stuff I've collected.
Mm.
So like I've never been the person that like grabbed stuff, put it on a shelf, and just left it there. Uh, I want the thing that I'm collecting to do something else once I have it, or like
Yeah,
uh,
like multi-purpose.
exactly. So like the first I guess nerdiness that I was really into was through probably sports.
Hmm.
Um, but like as a fan of like local professional teams and like going to games and having favorite players and like trying to find the baseball or basketball cards. And when you have collect cards like that, they don't do anything. They just sit there in
Yeah,
like folders and nothing happens. And I think
do a trick.
and normally when I find stuff, it's from outside influence through interaction with other people, TV, thing like I have a moment with something or someone that uh is passionate or inspiring through basically
Hmm.
being contagious. That's the psychic barb. And then and then
Yep.
that makes me want to recreate it for myself. That's the type of nerd I am. So
Yeah.
I'm not a nerd to a specific thing. I'm a nerd to finding that is tied to the compulsion of recreating the senses of passion for myself.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
100%. I get that.
And I think the first time I ran into one that wasn't from TV or like I could just sit there and it would hit me in the face was I want to say magic cards because magic cards weren't a
Okay.
thing that like you don't accidentally walk at the time. I'm dating myself at the time.
Hmm.
Magic cards weren't in like dollar stores or like your Walgreens or like they were in specific like comic
Yeah.
book stores basically or game stores. Um, and so it was kind of a thing that uh, you found by someone else having already found it in a way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
It was a
and
specialty item, something that you had to come across. Well, you had
exactly,
to like specifically
Yep.
come across. It's not something you just walked out. Oh, I'm gonna get me a Snicker today, and be like, oh, what's
Right?
this?
Like
Yeah.
now you can find Yu-Gi-Oh cards literally at dollar stores.
Oh yeah,
Like
Walmart, dollar stores. All I see giant packs of Pokemon cards.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
oh, okay,
And
cool.
I think the Pokemon cards came. I don't know if they started shortly after I found Magic or if they were already out, but I realized they existed shortly after I found Magic. Um,
Mm,
but I remember they were the first Magic cards were the first thing. I didn't understand Magic at all. I was way too young for it to make sense in my head. But
yeah.
uh, uh, it was the first time that I had like the treasure hunt, which is like finding the things and collecting them, mixed with
Mm,
what do I do once I've collected the things, and like so you can have like the collection of stuff of cards you don't use, but then like you have like purposeful things that are like the
and your
deck
butt
that like
whooping
you
deck.
play with
Yeah.
exactly. Uh, so that I think that was the first time that the psychic barb was elicited from another individual, as
Mm,
opposed to just random influence. And not to that to say, I'm not currently playing Magic cards. I still have some, uh, uh, but I think that was the first, and I would love to again. But that was definitely, I
mm.
think that was the first of a line of like this person showed me a world of something I didn't know existed, and through that excitement, I went to recreate that sensation for myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did that with Pokemon cards. I never got into Magic. Excuse me. I never got into Magic because I didn't really have many friends that were into it, so
See, that's the
I
thing,
never
right?
got brought
You got to
into it.
know
Yeah.
someone who knows someone.
Hmm. So my big thing is when I was younger, I was big on when Pokemon debuted, dating myself, um, and
We all
yeah.
memorized the poker rap and
Oh
the
yeah. Oh yeah.
uh
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Meridian City.
Yep.
Oh
I
yeah, dude.
remember
I
playing
know.
both
Oh,
red and
yeah.
blue and not knowing what the difference was.
Yes, exactly. And then the thing that people, a lot of people may or may not remember was the unbelievable fury and frustration that came from being like, oh man, I got this Pokemon. Why won't it evolve? Oh, that's because you have to have friends. Well, I guess it'll never evolve. Or,
That was
you do have friends and none of y'all were, everybody was broke, so nobody could afford the link cables that were
yep,
stupid, expensive, and would
100%.
break as soon as the wind blew.
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that was my frustration. So but yeah, I started with the I watched the series up to the point it was at that time I excuse me, knew damn near all 150 Pokemon, which
I
I
feel like
think
it was
like
a
it's
requirement.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I think and then like I think it was like the 150 first, and everybody was like, oh my god, and then it was like boom 151, and we were like, oh, dear God,
Because
my
that was
mind is
Mewtwo.
blown. Yeah, and so I was all super excited about that, and I remember seeing the first movie and it shattering my soul, and being all like, "As is dead now," all that good stuff. So then when the card game came out, then I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I'm getting on this," and I was just savage. I just go around destroying people's souls. I just like a damn episode of Yu-Gi-Oh, but with
Yep.
Pokemon cards, I just walk up and just, "What's up?" and just you activated my trap. Yeah, I was man, and then that was also way back in the day where like the sought after most amazing card was the mythical holographic Charizard.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which you can
that was
now
that was
probably find at a gas station.
probably at least three of them.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was
Oh man, I
yeah.
remember that.
I definitely share that experience with Pokemon, but definitely not Magic. Even to
Well,
this day, I know so many
I
people.
also had that same thing with Pokemon. That
Hmm.
but it was I found out that Pokemon's existed because they were next to the Magic cards in the shop.
Nice.
So and then because of the age that I was not, I didn't have the patience for actual strategy games.
Yeah.
So the way that you played the Pokemon game was easier for my tiny little brain to understand. So it
Yeah.
basically that's at the end of me playing Magic was me playing Pokemon cards. Basically,
Nice.
was yeah.
Yeah. I actually didn't go to my first like comic or anime shop until like super nerdy shop until about how old am I now? I want to say probably a good decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a like I found out about Pokemon cards through friends, and then like a buddy gave me a couple, and I was like, yeah. And then I just started getting savage and destroying people and taking their cards, and that's how I built up my little deck.
Oh, playing for keeps.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, we were savage out there. We were taking cards.
Awesome. How did that how has that experience with the psychic barbs influenced what you interact with today or how you approach new stuff today?
Well, that definitely it definitely helped blossom all that uh just the love of nerddom, for lack of a better term,
Right.
and has helped me dive into more stuff in that sphere, which has in turn brought me to meet a lot of people, and it finally uh, made me try D&D, which I did that in the army, and then from there, because I
Oh,
had always been
really?
like, oh, that's one place I wouldn't try. That's one thing I wouldn't try because that's super nerdy. That's stupid stuff. But yeah, being deployed for a year, then you're like, you know what? I will
You're gonna
try damn
play
near
every day.
anything. Yeah, I will try anything. And thankfully, the guy that I tried it with, he wasn't, we had one of those guys in the group that was like, okay, so I take my bow of the raven and I add +2 with the scorpion's dagger, and the amulet of the frost will add another +7. So then I'm gonna fire it, and I'm gonna fire it at an angle, so it's a specific shot, just like that. And I was like, oh my god, just attack, please, for the love of God, just please attack. And so there was one guy like that. So I did run into that stereotype. But for the most part, everybody else was really cool to play with. And I just really enjoyed myself. And that's, that started, I planted that seed, that psychic barb, and just went from there. And then had my mind completely blown when I got online and found out that D&D is like this much of the whole sphere, and
Yup.
there are just a cornucopia of games out there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I grabbed it and I just went running and never looked back.
That makes sense. I found it wasn't so much that I found there were other like a whole multiverse of tabletop games. It was more that I found that uh you could perform it, and
Oh yeah.
that was the next level. Because that was I mean I only found D&D uh north of 30, I believe. Um
Um,
uh and it wasn't okay. So I never had a reservation of playing. Again, this is like
hmm.
you got to know someone to know someone, right? Like you can't just pick up the game and play by yourself. It's not
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
a big thing within the I guess the culture right now is the pushback with Wizards of the Coast, because Wizards of the Coast, the whole business model has been making money off of the GMs.
Hmm.
So like you have to know someone who's willing to run a game, basically, right? That's but that was uh uh it was the I guess not knowing anyone that was willing or openly talking about the ability to run a game for however long.
Hmm.
But it was similar to like in middle school or like late elementary school, picking up like the drums.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and but also not knowing anyone that played guitar. Like I like
Mhm.
so like there's only so long I'm gonna sit in the basement, banging loud pots and pans in the bottom,
Yeah.
annoying my parents and not having like someone else to play with. At some point, that just rots. Like that's
Hmm.
um. So it was that, but I have that was so it was north of 30 that I found D&D, and then it was very quickly integrated into my business models of wellness, um, because of the people I focus on helping, um, and then separate from that, uh, I Lydia had already been watching and listening to Critical Role through
Hmm.
suggestions from our memberships or our gym members. Um, and we're both storytellers. We both really enjoy diving into the realm of making shit up, and seeing what happens. Um, and when even just over the last, it was only the last. How long have I been in Rhode Island? A year and a half, something like that. It was really just as we were leaving Nashville that
Hmm.
the the idea of performing in a tabletop stream or show was something that was approachable as like oh, I know someone who knows someone. But as
Yeah.
soon as that happened, it was like, you mean I don't have to go get concussions for wrestling? Because it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same level
Oh.
of pageantry and silliness and dumb and chaos
Hmm.
and fun. And one means I gotta be able to deadlift this amount so my back doesn't break in the ring, and the other means I can just sit in front of the computer. So that was an easy choice. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, could have been either.
Yeah. Listen, that's still on my bucket list. That's still. It was just when you're moving to a new spot, it's easier to do stuff from home than it is to have to leave.
Yeah, no, I
So
get that 100%.
yeah, awesome. How does the influence of the psychic barbs? How does that influence how like running around as an adult for you? How is that?
Oh man.
Does it change how you like look at finding new stuff to do, or like how does yeah.
Well, I mean, it has had quite an impact on like day to day and everything like that. Now it will like it's definitely helped me be more expressive and I guess in a way sociable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like getting up and performing in front of people or on like that. Now I just I'm not as people that know me are gonna be like, what? Not as shy as I was. Um, because I've been in front of, 7 people online streaming a game. I've been online performing in front of like 25,000. It is what it is. At this point, you go and do your thing and just like don't stress it. As I say that, but every single time I'm like hyperventilating before I go on. But oh, like even to this day, like it could be for like 3 people, and I'll be like, all right, let's do this, and then it starts, and I'm like, yeah. But that fear is always there. But it's helped me just
Wait,
not.
what was that? What was that?
I said the fear is always there.
Good. I just I heard you the first time. I wanted to make sure the audience heard,
Oh yeah,
because I need other people to say that, so it's not just
yes,
me.
no, 100%. Every single time.
Yeah.
That fear is there, even when I'm doing speed running, all that stuff. Anytime I go live on camera in front of people, my brain goes, hey, you're about to have a good time, right? You should relax. But before you relax, let me list alphabetically all the horrible things that can go wrong. And I'm like,
Yep.
and it's a constant practice of having that input shot into your brain immediately and just going, no, 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 no. Set to the side. I
Hmm.
understand these things can happen. We will deal with them if it happens. But right now, we are focused. We're gonna do this. We're gonna have fun. And that's what we're here for.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, we're gonna dive into this. We're because this is
Yeah.
also supposed to be wellness. So, that's interesting. So, because I, I've because one on a personal level, I've experienced the overall just presence of fear or
Yeah.
of not just with performing, but like I get it's a similar sensation when like you're doing something for a new time or like you're in a spot
Mm-hmm.
where you're hanging out with people you don't know yet or you're like it's the same kind of sensation. And every time I still get the sensation like going to the thing or getting ready to go live or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I've noticed that uh, my the more that I've exposed myself to that sensation, the better I've gotten at like or the shorter the time span, or the better I've gotten at like pushing into starting and
Mm-hmm.
like because once I'm doing it, it's all muscle memory.
Oh yeah.
It's all just
Oh yeah.
here we go, we're going.
It's making that leap.
Yeah, and I've used this line before, but it's not that I've gotten better at knowing what's after the leap. It's that I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten better at forcing myself to jump and figuring out how to land when I get there.
Yeah. And I mean,
Um,
sometimes you got to do that because if not, then your brain will be like, it'll just swarm with all the things like you shouldn't do this. This might happen. Oh
yeah.
God, is this happening? What are you doing? Why are you doing? And it's just, yeah, no, it's better sometimes to just like yeet right off,
Yep.
and then in the middle of that free fall, your brain will click and be like, all right, we need to do this, 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 this,
Yep.
and
Yep. 100%. Uh, that's in. So I don't specifically have like when it hits. I don't I don't have like a doomsday scenario in my head. I have it's
mm-hmm.
more that so my fight or flight response is freeze. So the close
uh,
like so that like the hour leading into doing the thing, I go not completely, but basically nonverbal. Like I go
mm-hmm.
completely within myself, but there's no like my thought monologue almost completely dies. Because all my like senses are like, yeah, you're being chased by something.
Yeah,
Um, and so my all my systems are on run away, but my body's
yeah,
response to you gotta run away is to play possum. Basically, is just so the anxiety that builds is that once it goes live, I won't be able to turn that off. There's not a there's not a like oh this could go wrong or this could think like that's not
mm-hmm.
that I can't nothing can enter my brain at the time like it's that I can't not even that I can't remember what I wanted to talk about or what I wanted to say. I can't remember how to
Mm-hmm.
talk. Like I there's
Uh,
like the idea of speech in my head no longer materializes. And then I'm just sitting there like just we're about to find out like and then it goes live and it goes fine like every time.
yep.
uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
sitting there and it's like you give this grand, elegant speech, and all this, you're like performing your heart out, and then it's the camera switches, and it's just you sitting there staring, screaming internally. Just,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
I remember I did this is gonna be super not name droppy, but like
Okay.
specific example. But like I remember a few months ago I was hosting a panel as part of a fundraising stream. Um
Mm.
that was doing tabletop games. My panel wasn't a game. Mine was on recovering from burnout, actually. as a creative
Oh
person.
yeah.
But normally in my experiences, um, I'm normally I've never, even though I host my own show, if I'm
Hmm.
hosting my own show, like from beginning to end, I know when I'm live and when to talk. And generally, when I'm on someone else's platform or show, someone else is talking first, and then I get to respond, which
Yeah.
is when I'm at my best. Like I love improv, and with improv, is reacting to
Oh
to
yeah.
the situations. So like, give me something to bounce off of, please. Um,
Oh yeah.
but in this one instance, we were going live, but the person that was like, "Hey, here we are," was off camera. So as soon as we went live, and I was hosting the panel, and as soon as we went live, I was supposed to introduce the panel. But I also, because I'm not
Oh.
behind the keyboard, I can't tell if we're live or not. Uh, uh,
Oh no.
oh, so I was feeling this was the best I had felt going into something. Like I still have the same. Again, it doesn't go away, right? I still
Hmm.
like my brain has turned off. I'm running on pure muscle memory of uh knowing my name and what I
Yeah.
want to talk about. I have my note cards in front of me in case I don't remember what I wanted to say. And the
See,
minute
that's better than me. I've never had note cards, and I need them.
I don't have
There's
scripts.
a lot I
I
gotta
have
say.
little cards with like bullet points. Um but so I had all that set up and ready to go, which you do that prep work because when things go wrong, you can look at them. Um, and that but 30 seconds before going on, I have this realization, and that was a level of that sensation I had never felt before. That was like the whole world just exploded, and the camera's on my face. And I just went,
Yeah.
oh no, and it felt
Yeah.
like 10,000 hours. I'm sure it was 5 seconds. I'm sure no one even noticed. But then, because of that panic, the next 10 minutes of me talking in the hour panel, whenever I talk, I can feel myself uh, talking like I'm on speed because
Yeah.
I'm playing catch up to the brain that wasn't able to do anything. It regulated, got it still fine, but like yeah, there's definitely that sensation does not go away. It also doesn't just apply to performing. It's
True. But yeah, that whole time dilation is a
that's a real thing.
it's a hell of a thing.
I first learned that in with stand up because the timing that you learn that allows you to interact comfortably with the audience uh is far slower in the outside in the inside your head than it is outside
Hmm.
what people are experiencing, especially when you consider that you have a microphone and there's an echo.
Yeah.
Yep. So like when you're thinking or creating crafting jokes or like ideas, uh the initially when you're up there, there's it's not so much that you end up speaking faster. It's that the emotions and delivery are all off because while you're doing it how you picture it in your head, the audience is seeing it fast forwarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
That is. Oh my God. Brains are beautiful. Let me
Aren't
just say
they?
that.
Yeah.
They are wonderful, wonderful
Yep.
things.
They are. The brain is so powerful that we have evolved to not have natural predators outside of other humans.
Hmm.
And its primary purpose is to prep systems that keep us from not dying, right? Like that's its entire
Yeah.
job, and it's so good at its job that even though we no longer get chased by lions and tigers and bears,
Oh
that it
my.
will create pretend scenarios of you being chased by metaphorical lions and
Oh my
tigers and
God.
bears
Yes.
just so you're ready, just in case. I haven't been
Yep.
chased by anything in my entire life on any level of like, I'm gonna die. But my
Yeah.
brain teaches me to fear that response. And I have no training of what to do when it hits most of my life. It's not fair.
Hmm. Yeah. I can honestly say that is one great thing I can brag about is I am not constantly set upon by different creatures in the wild. So, well, again, let me say that with an asterisk, because my job does have me in lots of situations. Like a buddy of mine was what is today? Saturday. Wednesday was chased by a wild boar. And then well, actually, I just think this guy, like, nature has just some kind of, like, I'm trying to think of the appropriate way to say it, because I have what I want to say in my head, but I don't think that's it. So I'm trying to think of the proper way to say it, the nicer way to say it. But for, I guess, lack of my brain cooperating and being more I guess family friendly in this aspect, I guess, if it's cool, can I say the horrible thing? Not horrible. It's not horrible, like terrible, but it's just not family friendly.
I can't. It will not get cut out based on the new format of the show. So.
Nice. Well, let's just say nature really hates him. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put it that way.
Yeah.
Nature really hates him because the same guy
Or
got
really loves him. Like has something
maybe,
like aggressive hard on for him.
maybe. Oh yeah. Okay. See, I was gonna say hate boner, but yeah, I think, yeah, let's go with that. But yeah, because he got chased by a boar, and then the day after, got out of his truck and was staring. I don't want to say face to face because he wasn't like laying on the ground, but he was like 3 feet from a gator and was like, "Huh."
Oh yeah, but to be fair, you are in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I think
yeah.
you have to start. That needs to be like the asterisk of every story you talk about.
Oh yeah. So this thing happened. By the way, I live in Florida. But see, then I like everybody's surprised. It's like, oh my God, what? And then I go, oh yeah, I live in Florida, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, he ran into, like, and I'm just sitting there like, man, and I between the boar and the alligator incident, he didn't, like, he wasn't accosted by it, but he did come across a snake that was, I want to say, about 7-8 feet long. But he, like, made some noise, and it was like, oh snap, and ran off. So yeah, we come across some things. We still come across what could be. I'm not even gonna say what could be construed as a predator. They are predators. They
100%.
if any of them was like, hey, you look delicious, I want some. There's gonna be a problem there. It's not like, ooh, I want to attack this human, but I'm scared. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still come across some horrible predator funness every day, but yeah, I get that. Definitely, that instinct is there. Those scenarios pop up.
Right? But they're not. But now they're no longer thinking of being chased. They are. Um. I have to give a presentation, or
Yeah.
my project's due, or
Yep.
I'm late for work, or like they don't seem like they should matter at the level that they do, but because they are the extreme of what our tiny little lives get to experience, they count as if we were being chased
Yep.
by a lion at that moment. That's
Oh yeah.
not fair.
Yeah. It's just stupid pre-wiring of the brain.
Yep.
I need you to calm down and just let me enjoy my video games and nerd stuff, instead of having me panic about everything all the time.
Yep. Now, so what I have learned
Yes.
with understanding that my response is to freeze.
Yeah.
I have noticed that the more I expose myself to versions of things that cause me to small freeze, or not freeze all the way, or
Hmm.
get over the fact that I froze and do it anyways, the better I've gotten at operating while frozen.
Yeah.
Which is strength training, but for fear.
Yeah. Hey,
uh,
the question is, does it work?
for me, but
And there
so
we go.
I know it works for me because
Yeah.
I see the Matrix, but two, but two, I also once I notice that I apply it to myself on purpose. So
Yeah.
I'm more likely to say yes in a situation where there's no there's not actually a specific threat. There's
Yeah.
not like if I get like the bad juju, I'm like having this person be my DM. I don't let them be my DM. But uh, if if I'm uh, going to starting with a new party and I don't know any of them at all, like that's an entirely
Hmm.
different set of emotions that feels like the same fear. Uh,
Yeah.
and then that one I'm going through anyways, and then I'll discover if they're fun or not. Um,
Which, let me pop in real quick. My God, people, 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 people.
So when I clip stuff for the
Speak up.
show, it's only a minute at a time, and that is just a 1 minute clip of you going people, 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 people.
Yes. Please, like I get it. You want to play the game. You're meeting new people. I've heard so many horror stories, so many like just terrible tales of people being like, "Hey, I'm playing this game and my DM is way off the rails." And not like, not somebody that's just kooky and having a good time, but like way off the rails as in this is a terrible person and it's making my experience hell. Um like, "Hey, leave the table. You don't have to stick around for that stuff.
But
Like,
you gotta get your
please,
fix,
please."
right? You gotta get that.
Huh?
You gotta get your fix.
It's the internet. You can find 50 tables today, right now, in this moment, that are exactly like that, if not better. So I know people that have been like, well, I've been with this table for for 6 months, and it started out with little things at first, but now it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm like, okay, leave. Go find another table. I guarantee you, I can point you in the direction of 6 tables that will be phenomenal and you'll enjoy yourself instead of it being like, hey, I have when you get to the point where you're like, I have to do this and you're not looking forward to playing, then you shouldn't be playing.
Now
Not
I'm
the game
going
at all,
to
but with
yeah.
that group.
This is a very important message for all of us to hear, uh, because you're tying it to something that we drive joy from, which is supposed to be fun and make our lives better, right? Uh,
Yes.
and the people in that scenario uh, are more important than the thing you were doing in terms of how much fun you were able to have. This is
Yep.
why I don't have a favorite system. I have favorite people that I want to play systems with.
Exactly.
Uh, because if I'm going in with someone that I don't vibe with playstyle wise, or I'll try with new people, but like if I'm playing with someone that I don't vibe with, it doesn't matter if I like that game or the story that we're playing. That blocks me from
Hmm.
enjoying what I want from it.
Exactly.
But what's more important than that is just like the sensations of fear don't go away, and and it gets fixed in other areas of her life. Um, you can replace TTRPG group with coworkers, friends, family. I don't care the scenario in which you're repeatedly interacting with someone. This still holds true. This is still
Yes.
like the thing that is the one difference that I will say is that it's emotionally more difficult to do when it's family. I understand.
Yeah.
It is financially difficult to do if it is a workplace. I understand that. That
Yeah.
is, but uh, acknowledging that the individuals that are in the way on a personal level, not on a like my boss is too hard on me level, but on a on a like the the way this person thinks when they say things out loud goes against everything in my body. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
don't interact with that person. Don't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Like just because you work with this person doesn't mean you have to be friends with them.
you can
Just
you can be kind, and it doesn't mean you have to be mean to
oh yeah,
everybody,
you don't
right?
have to
Like,
like spit in their face every time you see them, but I'm saying like you don't have to go above and beyond to be. You can be friendly, but you don't have to be friends.
yeah,
Like
I will say I
there's a
think the
couple people I
biggest
can think of at work now that I'm like I see them and I'm like I'll nod and do the little hi, how's it going, and then go on about my day. But if they they were like, hey, let's go hang out, I'd be like, not a chance in hell.
right. I think the biggest not misconception, the biggest flaw in our understanding of social hierarchy and circles is relying on relation um, on communities or social interaction through forced proximity.
Hmm.
The fact that someone has to be next to you doesn't mean they have to be someone you interact with. Like that's not.
Yeah. And they don't have to, they don't have to be your friend either. Like there's, I sometimes people are like, oh, this guy, I work with him all the time, but he doesn't want to hang out. Why? It doesn't make sense. We work together. Like maybe they just don't like
Want to,
you.
or maybe they
Yeah,
don't
or
like the
don't
style of
want
hanging
to.
out you want to do. That's also a valid thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But, maybe they just don't like hanging out, period. And so
Yes.
you take it personally and you're like, why not? And they're like, I would rather be in my boxers at home watching anime or Netflix and eating bonbons.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's a fun time to me.
Yep.
So go ahead and do that But
Or
just because they
maybe
don't want to,
or maybe
no, go ahead.
maybe seeing your face for 40 hours a week is enough, and it's not even
Yeah.
like
Oh, crazy
maybe it's
talk.
not even
That
a
might
like
be
or
it.
dislike thing, but like let me give a chance to see other faces for a little bit, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Work is a lot. I don't want to always be surrounded by it. I get
No,
that.
yeah, 100%.
And it sucks. You seem like a really cool person, but you are work. You
Yeah,
you are associated with work.
yep, that is a high bar to climb over.
Yep.
just like I don't really enjoy collecting things unless they have a purpose. Like I
Hmm.
need the person I'm interacting with to provide me something other than the fact that you're a person. Like that is.
Yeah.
I don't just collect people. I'm not. That sounded weird.
Gotta catch 'em all, coworkers.
Yep. So what for you? I know what my personal experience is with the being afraid and overcoming it in the moment. What? And you mentioned like being considering yourself less shy or more shy in the past. Uh, what what have you learned as because you stream solo stuff by yourself on a
Oh yeah.
semi-regular basis, and so you're still having that same response on some level as
Yeah.
yeah. So do you have things you do to help, or do you just do it anyways? Or there what is
Mm,
your or what have you learned through doing it? I guess.
well, just like the regular like the wonderful meme where you're just screaming do it live. That's kind of what goes through my head for the most part. Is I'm like I start freaking out because I'm oh this happens specifically when I stream and I do games. I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I want to do this game. I'm having second thoughts. What if it's just I don't enjoy it? What if the my viewers don't enjoy it? And then my brain's just screaming, do it live. I'm like, all right, well, you know what? Let's do it live. Let's find out what's gonna happen. I know that that for the most part, the majority of my viewers enjoy me. And those that don't, I mean, don't really come back unless they just for some reason are masochists. I
Right.
don't I don't understand.
Like
But yeah,
most of the people that don't enjoy what someone does are like a 2 or 3 star review, which means they're not leaving a review. Like they're not.
yeah. So yeah, it just I just sit there and my brain gets in there and it says these things. I'm like, no, no, this that I get that, but logically, look at this. Look at all the things going against that right now. So I'm gonna do this anyway. And it, either there have been plenty of times where I started playing and I was like, I hate this game. I hate it with a passion, and it's fine. Or there's times where I thank my community. I love them to death because they've called me out. Like I was like, this game's fine. I'm enjoying it. It's fine. And they're like, no, no, you're not. We can see this. You're not enjoying it. We get it. I know you wanted to play this game. Play something else, please. We don't want to see this game because you are not enjoying it. And we can tell you're not enjoying it.
What does when you're not enjoying a game, how does that manifest as you're playing it?
Oh my god. Well, um, specific levels, I would say, because there's some games I just don't enjoy. I'm bored for the most part, and I'm like, I'll be kind of quiet for the most part. I mean, there's quiet as in focusing, like I'm trying to beat a boss quiet, or figure out a puzzle quiet, and then there's just quiet because it's okay. This is all right. So I'm gonna spend the next 10 minutes doing this. Super fun kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's just like pure rage, and if I just get like I can't hide the hatred on my face for a game.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just look pissed off and I'm extremely quiet, I'm like, this is great, guys. We're having fun. Yeah, hype and things like that. Goodness. With that forced smile. Yeah, yeah, I hate that game. I hate that game, and I just don't want to admit it because either I spent $3 on it and I just don't want to admit I wasted money or something like that. Usually there was a game, and I'm gonna call it out now. And I'm sorry if anybody who's watching had a hand in making the game, or knows someone who did, but I think it's called a fish story or something like that, or fish game. You play a fish. It's kind of like one of those getting over it games, or I think the newest one is like going up, um, where it's just a gauntlet of BS, um, to see if if you can do it, or I get the general concept behind those games, but that fish game, it was made by sadists, and
So like
it
Nintendo
is
Hard in the 90s.
oh my god, no, because see, there's a difference. There's a difference, and I learned this when I was talking to a lot of people who were into Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. There's hard. I mean, there's challenging and there's punishing.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
Yeah, you always, you can always love a good challenging game. A good challenging game is fantastic. Everybody has fun. Everybody enjoys it. Not everybody, but uh, you know, you can love it. You can leave it. You can have it. It's all fine. But at the end of the day, it tests you, and if you can focus, you learn the pattern, you do all this, you can get it. You can defeat it. Everyone's happy. Then there's punishing. Punishing is just, hey, I want to make this hard, but I don't want to take the time to go into the specifics to make it, where it is beatable. So I'm just going to make it ridiculous, where the only way you can beat it is by like cheesing it or
Yep.
finding some way to like kind of glitch the game. So it's ridiculously hard for no goddamn reason out
So
there.
you're not
Um,
actually getting better at it.
Yeah, yeah. No matter how it's not about getting better or anything like that. It's just hard for the sake of being stupid.
Yeah.
And that stuff is that I don't enjoy. I don't have fun with that. Um, I know there are some people out there that do, but I think it's one of the worst ways to like set up your game or your difficulty based off that. Like by all means, like have bosses that change up their skills, that adapt to your play style. Make it challenging, but don't have it to where you'll be beating. You finally learn the pattern. It's been 3 hours. You've proc this boss. You know its patterns. You know how it's supposed to react, and then it like something in the AI is like, hey, he's dodging my stuff. Let's now, after 3 hours, move in a completely different way just to make sure they don't win. Or let me just swing and I know he completely wasn't. He was in the opposite direction, but he's gonna get hit now. Like stuff like that is just ridiculous.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, that uh, sorry, that it hits near and dear to me. But yeah, if I hit stuff like that, if I come across a game like that, I'll be just visibly infuriated and not want anything to do with the game.
Yeah.
And that
Th-
comes out
that makes sense.
completely visually, and I can't do anything to hide that.
I mean, I feel like that's the situation where you open your mouth the other direction. You just if you because if you let, in my opinion, it can be
Hmm.
entertaining to openly be at odds with the thing you're playing. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I
Uh,
mean, yeah, but there are some streamers out there that people love it when they get upset and rage at a game. Um, and I get that. It's funny. I understand. Now sometimes I will do that. And it's fine to get frustrated,
yeah,
and it's fine to get like
or like have
annoyed.
visceral reactions, like have a yeah.
Yeah, but I think if it's borderline pushing you to a stroke because you're so angry at it,
That's
then
different.
okay, yeah. I'm like, maybe we should play something else.
Yep. I always remember what game was it was the Avengers game.
Hmm.
Would like if you die too many times in like a quick succession or at the same point, it gives a little thing like, hey, if you lower the difficulty rating, you'll be able
Yeah,
to respond to different things. The problem that I ran into repeatedly was I kept dying on like platforming puzzles because of
yeah.
my inability to operate the controls, not because there were too
It
many
was too
bad
difficult.
guys.
Yeah.
And so I would get that message. It's like, great, can you bring the platform closer? Can you physically change? Like or I fell off the cliff 3 times in a row because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, you can't make it easier on the landscape. That's not fair.
Like
That's not.
changing the difficulty, is that going to automatically hit me with some Adderall so I can focus? Because I totally was spacing out when that happened. So
Yep.
that's why that happened, game.
So instead of
Jeez.
insulting me, how about?
And it always comes at the worst time. It's not like when you fall off something that's genuinely difficult, or you find a boss that's
Right.
difficult, and you get hit with that. You're like, yeah, no, that's a
That's fine.
possibility, but I kind of want to still do this, see if I can do it. No, it's all the times when like you fall off some weirdly shaped platform or something that just really frustrates you and you get your angriest. Then it comes in smiling. I don't know how a message can smile, but my God, it smiles, and it's like, you want to change the difficulty because you're garbage, and it's like,
Yep.
you know what? Mm.
Yep. Yeah. There is a level of and my Lydia, my wife, runs into this more than I do. There is a extreme level of preconceived understanding that is now expected with
Hmm.
jumping into um, console or PC games. That
Hmm.
that that it's I think it's different because it's more common for like kids to grow up with it. But like as an adult, even as an adult that grew up with around the age of video games, if you haven't been what's the word inundated with the muscle memory of the input output concept of how a controller works, separate
Hmm.
from typing, just like the idea of like because for the most part, even though they have different names and stuff, controllers have kind of agreed how they're built,
Yeah.
where the layouts go, what where buttons. So they're like, even though it'll say different letters or something, once you figure out uh, the
Like the
pattern on the
general
thing, or
jump. Yeah.
exactly. But you have to have learned that base level of knowledge first. So like if you come into a game and you don't like I see this more with the uh like the Naughty Dog games that are like really
Hmm.
good stories. So you want to be immersed and just like be part of what you're experiencing. Uh they can draw a crowd or style of gamer that would otherwise not pick up a controller because it's not competitive.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be about the skill of up front of getting over this many bad
Hmm.
guys, or like it's about immersing yourself in the world and experiencing the consequences of your decisions, basically.
Yeah.
Uh, and someone picking up that style of game that doesn't know how to play a controller is still stuck. They're
Yeah.
still stuck in the corner of the room with the character jumping not at the right spot.
Stop slamming into the wall.
uh, it is amazing how Nathan Drake can go from being able to jump 4 feet flat to the ladder to not being able to jump over this little rock on the edge.
Oh
There's
yeah, yeah. Parkour master when it comes to cutscenes and stuff like that, but
yeah.
trips over a blade of grass and shatters his ankle. Yeah.
Yep. Uh, but back to the thought process I was on. So is there anything you've learned from exposing yourself to everything's gonna go wrong, but doing it anyways?
For the majority of the time, it does not go even remotely as bad as you think it is. Your brain automatically hypes it up to be the worst case scenario, and the majority of the time, it is not as bad as you thought it would be. And even when things do go wrong, it's super manageable. Like it's not just a like because you think you're like, all right, well, if this goes wrong, then like the whole production's gonna stop. Everybody's just gonna look at you like, are you serious? What is your problem? Why are you screwing everything up? Why are you ruining this for us? But like something when it finally does go wrong, you're like, and people are like, oh yeah, no, it happened. Yeah, it happened to me last week. All right, let's see what we can do to fix it. And it's just
Yeah.
cool. Which again, to the whole entire minute clip of people, if you don't have a group of people that does that, you are with the wrong group of people
Right.
because
Now,
stuff
now
happens
I
all the
will
time.
throw an advocate that is, if you're within a group that has maybe more experience and this has a level of
Mm,
expectation on the floor of what gets done, there
true.
that might be a little different. But also, you would know that going in.
Yep.
That would be a different conversation. But for the most part,
Hmm.
I yes, 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. You can't go into a room of seasoned actors that have streamed for a decade, and this is your first time being on camera, and then be like, oh, I was supposed to have green screen. Oh, I was supposed to do this. I was supposed to do that, and then be like, I don't know why they got upset at me. Well, when you signed up for this group, they specifically said you need to have all these things, and then you decided not to. So I don't know what to tell you on that, bud.
Yeah. Yep. Completely. I forgot what I was gonna say. we made it a good dent into the podcast before that happened.
Heck yeah.
um,
I figured it'd be one of us. I'm just glad it wasn't
fair, fair.
me.
Uh, we're gonna pivot a little bit. Where
Let's go.
yep. Uh, you mentioned very early on that you get to interact with creatures in the wild a little more because you have a job that takes you out in the wilderness and forces you to
Yes.
use your body a lot. But I believe that's a recent development. How has your body adapted to that torture?
Terribly at first, but a lot better now. I remember the first week of working that job, my body was screaming at me. It was saying horrible things
Like
about
after
my
the first
mother.
day, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. After the first like week, it was like, what are you doing to us? It went through the like different stages of grief. First, it was angry. Then it was just sad. Then it was like trying to make plea bargains, and it was like trying, make deals. It was like, I'm sorry, we can work this out. Just whatever our issue is, I'll change. I'll be better. And I'm like, look, we're trying to heal. We're trying to like make money and be healthy. And it was like, I don't want to be healthy. And then after a while, it finally just accepted what was happening. And now it's, it's like, yeah, I feel better, but whatever. I don't care. I got angsty teen.
Yep. Yeah. Is there like, I mean, it's still like using physical energy, so like I don't think it's fair to expect to not be tired, right? Like
Yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
but I think
Oh yeah.
there's a difference between my body forgot no longer works and I would like to take a nap now. Like that's a different level of
Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah. Now it's just like, oh my God, we had a good week. We had a rough week. I'm tired. I am super tired now. I would like to take a nap or just sit close to butt naked in some AC if that's cool.
right
Can we get more
again
water,
in
please?
Florida.
Because yeah. Um, can we get more water, please? Because we've been sweating buckets, and I've gone through on a typical date. On a typical day, I'll go through about 2 to 3 shirts just because of
Nice.
the like because it's Florida. So not only is it hot as hell, but it's also extremely inhumanely
Yeah.
humid. So yeah, my shirts get soaked. And so I'll be done with the day and I'll just be sitting there breathing heavy, covered in sweat, and just I don't want to do things anymore. And then I've noticed that like my body recovers from that a lot faster now. But as compared to the first week where it was
Yeah.
like, cool, my body is resigned with the fact that I have just committed it to death, and this is the end of days.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So
Have
yeah,
have, have you in the process of being in pain all the time from the job to being less in pain from the job, has there been anything you've done with in that span of time and growth and um, progression that you've specifically done to help, or has it been more like hang on survival and wait it out?
a little bit of both. I definitely have implemented a lot more stretches and actual exercising while since I've been working because I want to. I just want to make sure that my body is as adapted to this, you know, harsh, rigorous work style as possible. So and plus, the more I do it, the more I want to do it. So I force myself to work out more. So I'll be sitting there and we'll just finish lunch and I'll do some squats and some dips, and maybe some push-ups you know, just because I'm like, yeah, let's do it. This is a good opportunity to do a little tiny workout. I'm not gonna, go and go to muscle failure right after busting my butt in the blazing sun all day, but I will definitely squeeze in some workouts here or there. Um, albeit small ones, but still some
But
to
also, I want to point out that that's also having you
yeah,
move differently than you were, and that
exactly.
and that
Yep.
makes the big difference.
And it starts, I think, I want to say 85% of the time, it starts out with, I just got out of the sun. Let me stretch a little because I feel a pain somewhere. And then as I'm doing the stretching, I'm like, okay, hold on. And then like I'll go and like stretch my leg and then start doing squats. And then I'm like, all right, cool. So now that I did squats, I'll look around what's in the general vicinity to, do other things. And it turns into, it most of the time turns into a small little workout.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do it because I'll start stretching one muscle and then I want to stretch all the muscles so I can reduce how much I hurt when at
yeah,
the end of the day. And then it all just kind of goes from there.
that makes sense. I have my personal example is the my work has is not super like physical beyond my means,
Hmm.
but it's the movements are extremely repetitive and or involve me standing still, which causes everything in my body to lock out. uh,
Hmm.
so my I get I don't feel super. I'm tired again because it's work, but I'm not like beyond worn out. But I do notice that like the whole backside of my posture muscles are like, hey, we've been doing this all day long, and we can't tell if we moved one direction too many in one direction too much or the other direction too much, but now we're mad. And generally, I have to either work the opposite muscles or get my core to turn on, and then I'm all better.
Mm-hmm.
Like it instantly goes away. Um, but that's the moving different. Rather than like, because if I don't address it and I go from that to just collapsing on the couch or just uh uh sitting still, then the same spots that are messed up are still messed up, but now they're stuck because they're immobile. And then I wake up and it hurts to stand.
Yep. I have noticed that I have to do this additional movement. I have to do these things because, normally you think, okay, if I'm out busting my butt doing all this manual labor, when I'm done, I'll just go sit down and it's fine. I'll just relax and we're good. No, that don't work that way. Because I'll sit there and I'll sit and I'll be like, all right, I'm done. It's I got the AC and the water that I wanted and I'm good. And I'll be almost worse than if I didn't stop moving the
Yeah.
whole time. Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's why I've learned, okay, I gotta do like when you work out, do a little cool down
Yep.
exercise, something to, get your body into that relaxed state. And that helps
Or
out a lot
because like
better.
if your nervous system or your cardio system or overall energy levels are like, I need to nap now.
Hmm.
So uh it is important that your body stop doing the torture. um,
Yeah.
it's the other option is the next thing you do when it is to like start go to move somewhere else again is to do the little bit of workout then. Uh, because you're gonna go to stand and not be able to, or like your shoulders are gonna like scream. So in that
Hmm.
moment, you address. It would be the same movements you need right at the end. You just do it then, so that you can get the rest in between. Uh, it's kind of like stretching out the taffy that pulled itself too tight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Cool, cool, cool.
I will say my go-to was just squats and push-ups. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, that's it. That'll take care of all the body groups and muscles and things, right? That's how that works. Uh, but surprisingly enough, no one saw this twist coming. That is not true. So, thank you to you
Oh.
because you have definitely been like, hey, I know you're having this pain here. How about one of these 6 exercises that'll not only hit that group but the groups around it? And I'm like, wait, it gets that specific? Oh, okay.
So
I
here's
can't
here's
just like I can't just do the Harlem Shake and everything's fine. No, I gotta actually like hit specific groups.
both are
Damn.
actually true. It is like so you are correct in your initial idea of let's do push-ups and squats. That'll cover everything. If you're not doing anything, then yes, because the goal is to start moving. Or
Mm-hmm.
if that's a movement that is allowing you to, whether you realize it or not, move in a way that's different or more specific from the thing that's normally torturing you, that's also going to
Mm-hmm.
help. So that is providing a great amount of coverage. What changes is when you hit that point and specific things pop up or specific things lag or you develop a specific goal that you want to accomplish with the movements. That's when it becomes, well, now what do we do? But you have to get you don't start with that point. You get to that point by doing the general work first. Uh, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Oh yeah, completely does. That's not, again, not something I would have, thought of on my own. It was just because I didn't have the knowledge, I guess.
Which is fair.
Yeah, I was very ignorant to how the body worked. So I was just like, I do this and it worked good, yeah. And
Yep.
then come to find out it don't work good. So
Yeah.
then thankfully I've had people in my life that I've been able to communicate with that have been like, oh, no, sit down, just sit down for a second. Let's talk to you. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna learn you today. You're gonna
Yep.
learn this, and I've been able to run with that, thankfully, and
Yep.
implement it into other things, going forward. Like I know my friend at work is just like, my God, he knows so much, and I'm like, haha, my secret is I don't. I'm
Yep.
just reliving past experiences.
Yes. I mean, that's how I learned. I mean, I taught myself and sought out the information, but at some
Hey,
point,
it
there
works.
was a point where I also didn't know.
Mm.
Yeah.
I started hearing a song. Oh, damn it! I muted myself accidentally. I was clicking over. I heard a song randomly, and I was like, "What is going on with my computer right now? What like, what is some are aliens getting into my
I
headset?" But
do
then I
hear
realized,
muffled, not your voice.
oh yeah, that's children. Yeah,
Okay. One of them screamed, and then it went silent. That's not good.
because well, it goes from muffled sounds to, everybody gets a little too excited with playing, and then it turns into screaming and
Yeah.
bloody murder. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that we want that to be an extra part of the podcast.
Nope, we don't. But also,
Yeah.
what is it? I think Kevin Hart has the joke about like when you're on solo duty as a parent, silence is your worst enemy. You're just something's wrong. You can't hear them. Where'd they go?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But sometimes you're like, you know what? It's silent. Something's going wrong, but I'll deal with that afterwards. I'll take the silence for now.
Yeah, that's fair. It's funny. What have you been
So,
speedrunning? Oh, you go.
oh, I was gonna say, so what TTRPG game? Not the game, but when are you gonna let me run a one shot for you? That's the question I want to know. That's the question all the people want to know.
For me specifically, what do you mean?
Well, not like just for you. I mean, we could do a one on one shot if you want, but I'm just meant as when you gonna let me DM.
I feel like you're doing that backwards. You're supposed to tell me when you're DMing.
Oh, okay. If it's just that way, okay. I will let you know
Like,
when I get a game together, and I be like, Julian, you need to come join. This is what's
yeah,
gonna
just
happen. All right,
hit me up with one of those psychic barbs.
all right. See, that's mainly the question I needed answered.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
or
I
like
didn't
hit
know if
me up
it's like
on
super
like
extreme.
the Power Rangers comm. Like give me a
Oh yeah,
little ding ding.
I can do that
That's when
too.
it happens.
Shoot.
That's because yeah, because you're DMing. So I you tell me where and when to show up, and then I make it happen.
Okay. All right. Y'all heard it here. Y'all heard it here. Everybody on the channel heard it here. Just
Yeah,
give him, put out a bat signal, and it's down.
that's how it
So,
works.
all right, that works for me,
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Um, but uh, what uh, what have you been speedrunning lately?
So I've been working on thanks to Cypher, Road to Silence, and all the other wonderful beans I've come across in the GDQ
What's GDQ?
Games Done Quick, unapologetically black and fast, and Juneteenth group chats. I've come across well, not come across, but I've had the seed planted in my head to build a Big Beaz beat 'em up block. So where I get a game like a block of like, excuse me, 4 to 5 beat 'em up games that I just run back to back, hopefully one day. So
Cool.
far, I have two. I have Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and Fight and Rage. and I'm working on more so that hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have a beat 'em up block soon. But I'm also stepping away from that at the moment. And I'm actually working on learning the speed run for the Messenger, just because it's a cool like Ninja Gaiden esque platformer, and the entire soundtrack from start to finish is just full of absolute bangers, and I
That's
love it.
fun.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. And big shout out to everybody involved in the game. It's wonderful. Like I've been enjoying every moment of it. Um and then the like little things, little side things, little small things that most people may not notice, like uh the shopkeeper, when you go into their shop and you go mess with the cabinet, they're like, "Hey, you can't open that yet." And then you do it again, and it's like, "Hey, don't." I said, stop opening that. You don't want to open that. You can't open. Hey, it's empty. All right, you need to stop. If you don't stop, I'm going to go on this long tangent. Like every time, this is me continuously clicking it. And it's like, are you sure? We can do this if you want. I'll even take away your ability to skip it. So you have to sit through this long, boring rant of mine. So this is your one warning. That's it. Are you sure? Click it again and see what happens. And I did it, and I was forced to go through this long rant. And I was like, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I know it's something small and stupid to most people, but I love that somebody was like, I know people that sit here and just click on things repeatedly, and then they get that same thing, going over and over, and they move on. Here's a little what's the word I'm looking for? Here's a little Easter egg for those that go the above and beyond to do that.
Yep.
And it was just like ridiculous amounts of dialogue boxes, just doing the stupidest things. So I do love that.
That's awesome. So that as someone who enjoys speedrunning, it makes sense that you would find the glaring differences between being able to improve at it and it just being in the way in terms of
All right,
like whether or not you enjoy the game.
I am trying to get these kids quiet. One second. Sorry, I just, even with both headphones on, I heard just the continuous increase in sound. Um, so yeah, sorry about that. What was the question again? That should have taken care of it. The
uh,
joys of kids.
yeah. Uh, so as since you are someone that does enjoy speedrunning, it makes sense that you
Hmm.
would really be able to tell the difference between a game being something you can improve at versus a game that's just like in your way for no reason.
Um, I
Or that I guess that like
my
that would bug you more. Yeah, like
I think it's also, there's just a massive, like, speed running is an umbrella. There are so
mm-hmm.
many different specifics when you go under that umbrella. Like me, I think my main thing is beat 'em ups. That's why I'm so happy about the beat 'em up block, because uh my brain doesn't like trying to focus too much on trying to remember all these different things. So with beat 'em up, it's like, hey, you walk into the level and you get to the other side of the level as fast as possible by punching through people. And I'm like, I get that. Heck yeah, let's do that. Now, these people that go through like 67 levels and they've learned to map out every specific, like, I got to kick off this one pixel to go here and do all that other stuff, my brain starts to catch fire when I try and think about that. So that's definitely something that I don't, that's why I'm trying to do the messenger, because I feel like, you know, it's a step in that unknown land of speed running.
yeah,
Where beat 'em ups, my brain is comfortable. Like, you give me a good beat 'em up, and I can, I can start. I run through the game and then start working on levels specifically. All right, My only focus here is knowing when these enemies come out and the best way to juggle them. That's it. Not like, okay, I got to fight this enemy, dodge this enemy, kick off the very edge of this ledge so that I can kick up to this wall, or else I have to spend another 20 seconds going around. Like that is a whole new level of everything for me.
That makes sense. I like it.
So yeah, definitely I would say if you're going to go into speed running, anybody who's going into speed running, play a variety of games first. Like try and speed run a different variety of genres just to see what, because I originally, my first game that I tried to speed run was Mega Man X, because that is one of my favorite games of all time. Um, it was definitely challenging to try and learn all the different levels, everything you had to do in all the different levels, as well as the reason I ended up quitting that one before like actually giving a good full run, because back when I started it, I think now like they allow like the turbo button for firing and stuff, but no, it was just like you got to button mash as much as possible, and my sad fingers were not good for button mashing. Like I would do like 3 levels and my hands would be like this, and I'm like, all right, I need to take a break because ow, ow. So I was like, yeah, maybe this isn't the game for me, even though I love it. I probably cannot speed run it. And then I was like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play Donkey Kong. That's another one of my favorites. And it was great. I love the game. I love speed running it. But after the first world of levels, I was like, this hurts. This hurts my brain. My hands are fine, but now my brain hurts so much.
In what way does it hurt your brain?
It's just I start getting levels confused, and because my God, let me Google real quick. Let me see exactly how many levels. Uh,
Which Donkey Kong, by the way?
Donkey Kong Country for
Okay.
SNES.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let me see. I don't want cheats, Google. All right, so there is sweet boiling butts. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 worlds, and each world has about 5 to 7 levels in it. So yeah, I have to remember all of those and a boss in each world.
Yep.
So it got to be a lot. It got to be a lot. Now, I do believe if I go back and actually like sit down, now that I'm getting used to speed running, and I'm getting the general gist of everything, I think if I go back and start like really dedicate myself, it'll take a lot longer than a beat 'em up, but I think I can, go through and just run it to the point where it's just the whole game's muscle memory.
Yeah.
But that takes, I wasn't as one medicated as I am now for focus, and I wasn't as like used to trying to speed run as I am. So that's another reason why I'm doing the messenger, because that's something akin to that, but not. It's a lot more condensed.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
yeah.
I
So that's
bet. Have you done much in the way of working on speedrunning platformers in general?
no, 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 no.
No, because that's
Like
what
I said,
Donkey Kong is, right? It's a platformer.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to do Mega Man, and I tried to do Donkey Kong, and then I was like, oh no. And then I started playing, like I kind of just gave up on speed running. And then Ninja Turtles came out, and I was playing with my buddy Fox, and I was like, man, it'd be real fun to just, like speed run this game. That'd be crazy. And he was like, well, why don't you try? And I was like, damn, you know what? I
I
have no
will.
good response to that. So I have no excuse. So yeah, let's do it. And so we started doing co-op speed runs, and we were getting into it, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then like he got busy with work, and I was like, well, let me just try and do a solo run real quick. and I got a pretty decent time running solo. So I was like, ooh, well, I just did this whole run. It took, and it's not even a time thing because it took me an hour and a half to do it. And I was like, man, let me start working on this. Let me work on certain levels and try and, see exactly what goes into, improving my time on this speed run. And thankfully, the wonderful Ninja Turtle speedrunning community that I'm a part of, they were nothing but helpful and supportive the entire time. Plenty of like the top names on the leaderboard were like, hey, have you tried this? Hey, have you tried this? Even a couple of them, big shout out to a T Tree and oh my god, I don't want to miss anybody's name. Let me bring up the Discord real quick. I can run through the list and tell you. Because there have been so many. I want to make sure I show the love. I show the love. There was a T Tree, Croonin, General Andrews. Let me go through the list here. Strudel. Man, I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. There were a bunch that just came out of the woodworks and was like, hey, uh, you know, love having you here. Love seeing another person super into speed running the game. If you want, like a couple of them were like, hey, if you want, we can shoot you some pointers. Teacher even came as far as like hopping in my stream and watching me run through and was like, all right, you did a great run. Here's some things you need to improve. And like gave me a little breakdown. Croonin as well was like, hey, this is what I do to improve my times. And it's just been wonderful. Like that's what really kicked off for me getting into speed running was just that wonderful experience with everyone just getting in there and being like, yeah, this is what we can do to help. Any
Helping you
questions,
nerd
feel
out
free
with
to
a
ask.
thing you're enjoying
Yeah,
nerding out. Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
were just like, any questions you have, feel free to ask us anytime. We're always down to help. It's been amazing. And then like I sit in General Andrews stream and watch him run through a bunch of different Ninja Turtle and Mega Man games, and I've even picked his brain and he's been great. So it's just that positivity that's
Yeah.
come with my experience that has you know just pushed me to do more. And I just I love it. And I see that like kind of going back to my 1 minute clip of saying people. um it really
I
like
was, yeah, yep.
yeah, it just really, I've seen so many people discouraged from doing what they want or just giving up because they don't find that support, or they find someone that for whatever reason has a chip on their shoulder.
Yep.
So when you go and you're like, hey, new friends, I want to do this, because they have their own issues, they're like, I'm going to screw this person over purposefully for whatever reason. And there's just no logical reasoning for it. And all it does is just breed more unhappiness for no reason. And
Yeah.
that infuriates
Yeah. I 100% agree. I my biggest not my like I've been schooled on how to coach people learning, but my
me.
biggest priority and focus as a coach um has been realizing over the years how much um not even just nerds, just adults aren't have run out of expecting support and for
Hmm.
life in
Oh yeah.
general. Like there's this weird uh um maybe I think it also comes with along with the realization that we're all supposed to know what we're doing, but secretly
Hmm.
none of us know what we're doing. Like we're no one actually knows, and we
Yep.
just assume the person next to us does because they look like they have they have it together, even though the person that's next to you is freaking out with the person next to them. Like it's we're all
Oh
just
yeah.
in our own heads the worst mess, and the person next to us is uh even if and I mean there's definitely like instances where like I definitely am not that crazy. That's definitely a thought process. But
Hmm.
uh I forgot what I was gonna say. What was I gonna say?
Oh, there's like a stigma around asking for help, or like
There's that, yes, but
being helped or needing help.
there,
Like,
yeah, at some point, um, part of being an adult becomes the expectation of um, like, I don't want to say loneliness, but just like you're on your own. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm,
Which the biggest hang up for me from that is that it prohibits people from trying new things. But trying new
mm-hmm.
things is what literally scientifically keeps your brain young. It is
Yep.
literally the strength training to the neuroplasticity of your brain that helps you be vibrant and happy and alive, and experiencing things. Um, and we don't support that process because we cut out the connection that is other people introducing you with psychic barbs. Like, that's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
That's because
Yep.
uh, that bugs me. So my priority from a coaching standpoint, regardless of if it's personal training or not, just and my with my desire to help people, is helping from that perspective. Is just
Mm-hmm.
being the stopgap that allows people to feel support. Um, and a lot of people have interesting responses to it when they're not used to it. It is
Yeah.
it's kind of like people that aren't used to having legitimate praise or compliments. Not praise, but just like
Yeah.
being told they did a good job. They go, "No, I didn't. No. I couldn't have done a good job." Yeah.
I am a huge, huge individual that deals with that. I deal with that so much. I cannot, I physically cannot handle positivity, like praise for something I did. It hurts. It hurts. Like, somebody's like, "Oh my God, you did so great." And I'm like, "Thank you." And then we switch back to that internal screaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, thank you for that."
Yeah.
And it also comes. I mean, we can go on a tangent about imposter syndrome and all that.
We have time.
But yeah, but like it gets, it just the brain is a piece of shit.
It really
That's what
is.
it boils down to.
But
I'm
I
sorry
think
for
like it
saying
comes
that, but
down to even
it's
like
uh
in professional and work cultures. Like, you're not uh you don't it's rare that you have in communication with superiors or even coworkers.
hmm
Um it's rare that you have neutral communication that is positive in affliction.
yeah,
Right? It's either like we're both doing our stuff, not talking about work, and we're doing a good job, or something is wrong, and then we're talking about the job specifically. It is very
hmm
rare in general cultures of workplaces that the conversation that is related to the thing you're doing that is work is a positive conversation, or a thing that is providing confirmation that what you're doing is the right thing. Um,
yeah,
and it's not so much that we literally need praise, it's that if we don't know, if no one's telling us that we're doing things correctly, we can't know we're doing things correctly. Like, that's not, even if
that's
we
true.
think we are, right? There's a level of expectation that is of or hope, I think, that is like, if I'm doing something wrong, someone's going to correct it. But you also
Mm,
correct it by letting them know they're doing it right. I don't know if that
yeah,
makes sense, but yeah. Uh, yeah, that is more of that, please. More.
more of that,
But
please. Peace out.
that is the ultimate. That is like on like my itch of like, how do I help people? That is that
hmm
is my focus. 100%. It's just being like the base of like a pyramid that allows people, or safety net that allows people to feel like they could do something, or they're moving in the right direction.
Yep. And man, trauma is uh trauma is fun.
Yep.
Good old
And
trauma.
it's all valid. It is the worst thing you and your brain and nervous system have experienced is the worst thing you and your brain and nervous system have experienced. So there, even though you can like objectively be like, well, I wasn't in a car accident 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Your internal system registers the worst thing as the worst thing. That's
yeah,
just how it works.
yeah. Like, and don't be like, I get, like, if you're gonna complain about something, not to complain like be like, man, oh my God, I can't believe how much my life sucks that I have to, I have to go to my job and deal with this and that and blah, blah, blah. When, somebody is like literally struggling to make ends meet and, they've been trying to find a job forever and blah, blah, blah. And like a minor inconvenience to someone who's really struggling. But at the same time, you know, struggling is struggling.
Exactly.
It's a difficult line to understand, but you gotta understand that you may not have had those experiences. Maybe somebody struggled like
Exactly.
horrifically their entire life, and so they look at you because you just blew a tire and ended up crashing your car, and like a series of bad luck has hit you, and you're stressed out, and they're like, "Oh, really? Well, that kind of reminds me of these horrible experiences." And it's like, well, damn, I get that, but damn, homie, I'm trying to do the best I can with this.
Yep.
And then, oh my God, that's another thing is thinking about the things you could be doing, and then thinking about how you're not doing them, and then thinking about why you should be doing the things that
Yes.
you could be doing.
Yes, that is 100%. That is paralysis by analysis is what we refer to that
Mm-hmm.
as. The best thing, not for you specifically, for the world as a whole, on an individual level, that you can do to help with that is to find finite list of stuff. Just like
Mm-hmm.
put it in the real world as a concept. So when you're in your head screaming, all the things are good, what's your list?
It's too much. Too much
That's
to
true.
go
It
over
is.
right
That
now.
is true. That is an accurate statement. It is too much. It will never not be too much.
Mm-hmm.
There will
I
always
mean,
be
yeah.
something on the back end filling in the space where you thought you just completed something. That's what's the word called? Infinity. That's what that's called.
Yes. Yes. Infinity indeed. But that's all part of the whole human and growing process is working on that stuff.
Yep. Do you get because I have this. Do you so I get the same when I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Or if I haven't decided what I'm supposed to be doing. This is how my neurodivergence affects me the most. If I have not decided what I'm going to be doing and I have to decide in the moment, I have the same response internally as I do to like I'm about to go live, in that I
Yeah.
freeze.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
can feel the gears in my head turning of being like I'm supposed to be doing something, but it's not even that I can't figure out what to do. I can't remember what the options are. Like I, because
Oh man, I don't know if my brain
it is
does
because
that.
it's the same thing as like I
Yeah.
forgot what I was gonna say when I'm like before going live. Like it's the same thing.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I don't know if I've had that. I can completely understand the frustration with that, but I don't know if my brain is just gone. Hey, I know we're supposed to do some stuff today, but no, that's purged.
Yep.
Uh, I don't know if it's ever been that bad. Um, but I have had, definitely some, excuse me, some frustrating situations close to that.
Yeah. It's mostly for me. It's when I haven't decided yet. Like when I get to the
Yeah.
point of time that I have for doing the thing that I was supposed to decide, or like to know that I'm supposed to know what to do. If I haven't decided what that thing is, that's where that hits.
Hmm.
Uh, and deciding becomes not deciding. I'm gonna do nothing.
Yeah. I think for the most part, it happens to me a little bit when I go and I'm like, all right, I'm stressing out because I have a lot of different options. I need to take a breath, go, and then come back and figure out what I'm going to do there. Then when I come back, I space on the options like that. That's how I it comes to me is
Mm-hmm.
that I'll do that to try and like give my brain a break to keep from, just catching fire. And then when I come back, a couple, if not most of the options have at that point fled my brain and I can't remember them.
Yeah.
So
Sounds about right.
I think that's the best way I can uh like empathize with what you're feeling when it just drops immediately.
Yeah. Now, what fixes that is if I have put in concrete what's happening when I hit the time to do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't have to think about it. I just start doing the thing. And we just got the first person in chat.
Love it.
That's beautiful. We've been joined by Mimics and Misfits, who says bees.
I wonder if it's gonna pull up me screaming mimics.
Awesome.
I don't know. I can't look at it. Anytime I try and look at the caption thing, it makes my soul hurt.
It makes your soul hurt.
Yes, because then I look at it and then I say something and then it moves and I'm like, why'd you say that? And then because it takes
It
the
takes a
voice
second
and then
to
it tries
translate.
to yeah.
Yeah.
So then it just brings us something completely wrong and I'm like, that's not what I said.
That's funny. Yeah. Oh. We got Mimic says, no! Sorry guys, went to breakfast with my wife. Hope you had a lovely chat. Can't wait to check it out.
How dare you have breakfast with your wife?
And someone in person in the real world.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. You don't do those things anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I probably should though.
Yeah, we should 100%. Which is why teleportation needs to hurry up and get it together.
Okay, we're gonna end on this random rant. I agree. I made a joke to Lydia the other day that because she was like really wanted coffee or just like coffees and treats, pastries, and I was just like, I feel like DoorDash can develop the teleportation technology to just like grab it through your phone. I think that's a thing. And I think it's a thing that we focus on we get to first because you don't have to worry about the human dying along the way. Like it's not you don't have to worry you don't have to worry about the genetic
work on that and then you can start tailoring it to,
give me
flesh and people.
You can totally hologram teleport the inanimate stuff already, right? Like, hey, I'm moving from this apartment to this apartment. Let me just like through my touch screen, pull out my lamp and have it show up there. Well, that's a thing that you could totally do, which means you could totally just be like, hey, I need McDonald's. Bam. Big Mac.
Yep. Oh, man. No. Yes and no. Yes, that's cool. No, because then I will be 600 pounds and I will have no money at all.
Yeah, it's basically a middle ground because between that and the things in Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
because those things can only exist when our economy is not transactional.
Yeah,
because it's replicating food for free, like so there's no industry tied to that. But so if you tie it to what we have as an economy, so you still have to purchase the thing each time. It just you grab it and it sends it to you.
Yeah. It's a good starting ground.
Yeah. Oh my god, never move furniture again? I'm sold.
Yeah.
I have a random tangent story. I have an uncle-in-law who for years worked at or with or owned like a small moving helping company. And he would talk about like going into like the house and being like, okay, I need someone to play this piano. I need someone this piano that has not been dusted, that has not been cleaned, that is being used as a coffee table right now. Someone play the piano so that I know that when I move it, it will be played in the new place. Because otherwise, it's staying here.
Yeah, that is See, that's it. Everybody who's watching this and will be watching this in the future, please do all you can to support teleportation and teleportation technology. It is the future. We need it. We all need it desperately.
Yes. Of inanimate objects.
Oh yeah, well, starting with inanimate objects. Eventually, long-term goal, people.
Yeah.
Because, as great as it is to have a couch here and then a couch there the next second, I would like to pop over to some of my friends that are in different countries or complete opposite end of the United States and, give them a high five hug, punch in the arm, and then go back.
Yeah, let your world community be your neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay. What if in teleporting, the phase of transportation is traveling at the same time of distance that would be experienced as like regular travel, but we experience it on like it's instantaneous like on either end of the spectrum, but in the travel it's experienced in real time. So like if we wouldn't notice it for inanimate objects, but like if a human is being teleported, they experience that travel in real time. But when they get out, like the 2 seconds to download the data has taken place.
I don't know. It's difficult because
that would be a weird jet lag. That would
that'd be one hell of a jet lag.
Isn't that kind of like the idea of going the speed of light, except everything changes around you?
Yeah, but like, wow. I mean, I would still be up for it because that means less I have to drive. So I'll take the exhaustion over me not driving.
That's it. We're wrapping up. I will see you next time.
Yes, sir. Take it easy, everyone.